All right, Mike Mullaney, you are on Driven to Ride. Thanks for being here, man.
Thanks for having me. Something pretty cool for a little fabricator like myself. We don't get too many opportunities like this, so I greatly appreciate this.
Yeah, man. I mean, you are a part of the motorcycle world, and we try to, talk to people from all over the motorcycle world. So we're happy to have you. And you said you're a fabricator. In your own words, can you tell me kind of maybe what people know you for, or what your kind of claim to fame is?
Well, right now, people probably know me about building some pretty cool motorcycle drag bike chassis. We built about 15 of them, specifically for the NHRA Pro Stock Motorcycle side of things. Um, and a father and a dad. That's most important to me right now.
Yeah, for sure, man. So, um, you're fabricating. I mean, which basically means you're building these motorcycle chassis from scratch, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, yep. We started off in a CAD program like Fusion 360.
Hmm.
Before I cut metal, I'll design the entire chassis in CAD. And just one, I don't want to waste material, and two, I know where everything has to go. It can only go together to my rendering.
Yeah. Well, we'll get into that more a little bit, and into the fabrication side of things. But first, I want to ask you, how'd you get into motorcycling in the first place?
Well, I had two really cool older cousins. I'm
Nice.
originally from the East Coast.
Okay.
Um, I'm currently 35. So when I was 10, 11, 12, my cooler older cousins, Neil and Eddie, they were part of all the motorcycle clubs in New York City. And
Oh, no way.
I just thought it was the coolest thing since sliced bread. They're ripping wheelies everywhere. To me, there's nothing cooler than doing a 12 o'clock wheelie at 2 miles an hour, just cruising there, and
Yeah, yeah.
that really set an impression in me early. So I knew once I saw that, and they allowed me to ride their bikes at a way too early of an age on a street bike, I was hooked.
Yeah. So as soon as you threw a leg over, you were hooked from the start.
Oh yeah, my dad, very fortunate upbringing. My dad got me a Yamaha Blaster. That was my first, I guess, motorcycle, if you want to call it that, a four wheeler.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that first day, ripping wheelies on that and having a good old time, never look back.
Yeah. Sounds like you don't really have a lot of fear when it came to riding.
Gravity. I learned gravity. Well, you'll never beat gravity. That you fall off a dirt bike, you're gonna remember it for a long time. Like
Yeah.
my lower back is still messed up to this day from a motorcycle dirt bike crash that I had when I was 15, 16 years old. So
Okay.
you never forget gravity. Gravity
Sure.
will always win.
Yeah. So what kind of bikes were your cousins riding out east?
Street bikes mostly. One had a Honda, like a CBR 900 back in the day, and then the other one had a GSXR. I think it was a 750.
Okay. So
Probably, yeah.
they were cruising on super sports. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. They were having. It was like I said. It was the coolest thing. Watching a group of 100 street bike guys just taking over the streets. I still to this day I think it's really cool.
Yeah. I said I'm outside of Chicago, and I haven't seen it in person, but I've seen it on Instagram. Chicago United Riders, they do that kind of stuff,
Oh
where
yeah.
there's like a couple hundred bikes that just take over like downtown Chicago, or they're on the expressways around here. It's a sight to see for sure.
I remember I experienced it one time being a part of it, going over the
Mhm.
Brooklyn Bridge.
Oh, sick.
People left everywhere, just doing wheelies and just causing a ruckus, and cops are just back there. They can't do nothing because there's so many bikes. It's like just gonna
Yeah.
watch
What
the
was it like?
show.
What was it like being in the middle of all that?
Crazy, crazy. I don't. When I go riding personally, I'm usually either me or one other person.
Yeah.
And when you're around 50, 60 other people doing crazy stuff, you just got to be on a swivel, just looking around, just waiting for somebody to do a wheelie into you or something crazy like that. You have your own motorcycle skills, but you don't know what the nut behind the handlebars on the other bike's doing. You know what I mean? So you just got to be careful. Some people can ride and some people can't, and
Yeah. Yeah.
some people have way too big of a bike that they should even be looking at.
Yeah, it does. It does happen. So, well, I mean, that's a hell of a way to get introduced to motorcycles. And, you said you still ride pretty regularly now. What do you ride nowadays?
I don't have a street bike right now. I do ride my buddy Flying Ryan Ayler's bike. He has
Yeah,
a street glide that's all hopped up, a S&S 120 motor in it, and fully raced out for no reason. And when I go out to Ryan's shop, I have a company car that he allows me to use. And
nice.
well, they needed the car for the next few races. Well, I just hopped on his Harley and took the 200-mile ride home. So works out in
Not the
my favor.
worst
I get
way.
yeah. There's a lot of other worse things I could be driving home.
Yeah, for sure. So, well, let's get into the whole fabricating and drag racing thing. How'd you get into fabricating bikes in the first place?
Well, again, being fortunate, I was a crew guy on the Harley Davidson Pro Stock Motorcycle team for Vance and Hines,
Okay.
and I first started off doing that as a crew guy, but then they wanted me to be a motor guy, and I'm like, I could build a motor. That's nothing. It's too easy for me, like it just wasn't. I knew I wanted to be a fab person, but
Okay.
I never turned a TIG welder on. I never turned a lathe on. Never turned a milling machine on. And Matt Hines, Andrew Hines, Eddie taught me a lot of what I know today, working on the job at Vance and Hines.
Okay. So you've always been in like the kind of motorcycle, like mechanical, like fabrication kind of race space, it sounds like.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think I mentioned before, I'm 35 now. I grew up in the perfect era of cool TV shows, West Coast Choppers,
Yeah.
American Choppers, the Biker Build Offs, the Motorcycle Manias. And I knew once I saw those, I wanted to be somebody that built either a chopper, a drag bike, or whatever. I just wanted to build something cool. It had to be cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you're not looking cool, then what are you doing? Right.
That's what I say. That's what I say.
So, how'd you get involved with the Vance and Hines guys?
Well, I one of my best friends growing up is Eddie Krawick's little brother, and I went years of not even knowing that my best friend had an older brother that raced bikes.
Okay.
Well, I went to Motorcycle Mechanic Institute in 2010 and 2011, and I had a chance to go out to Indy and meet everybody. So I met them back then, and then a little jump forward, I started working at dealerships, and I woke up one morning and Vance and Hines had a crew guy Facebook ad like 5 o'clock in the morning. I could close my eyes and picture this right now. 5:30, 5:45 in the morning. I open up social media, do the quick browse that we all do in the mornings, right?
Yeah.
And the first thing I saw was like, "Do you have what it takes to be a crew member on a drag team?" And I'm like, I could text Eddie personally right now. So I texted Ed at like 6. Ed, is this something I could do? Is this something I could do? I'll move to Indy right now. And I was still in New Jersey at the time. And he said, yeah, just send me your resume. We'll go from there. And I didn't hear nothing for 2 or 3 months.
Oh, geez.
That dream is gone.
Yeah.
So I reach out to Eddie. I'm like, hey, Ed, just kind of like seeing what's up. And I remember it. He's like, no news is better than bad news. I was like, huh, okay, well,
Yeah.
never heard that before. I don't know how to take it. So a couple weeks later, I think it was, Matt Hines ended up calling me to have me come out. He wanted me to come out in like the next month or two. As soon as Matt hung up, Eddie called me and said, hey, I got you a plane ticket on Thursday if you want to come out.
Oh,
I
damn.
said, and I was working. I was on the clock when that phone call happened. So I ended up hanging up and walked straight up to the boss, and I was like, hey, man, I got an opportunity of a lifetime that I can't pass up.
Yeah.
So he's like, all right, yeah, no problem. Let's do it. So, and then I came out to Indy, and then that was November 11th. And then I moved to Indy January 1st
Wow.
to
Yeah.
start my
Talk about
new.
just changing your life in like a matter of months, man.
Oh yeah, it was time. It was
Yeah.
time.
So what goes into being a crew guy on a drag race team?
Being able to work with other personalities is the biggest thing. I'm just being straight up with you.
Yeah.
Um, uh, Being flexible with your schedule because you never know when a test session is going to pop up. Um, for me, like now with Ryan's team, I built so much of the bike, so like that's like my baby. Everything on Ryan's Pro Stock Motorcycle is one off. There's no other bike like it in the world. So everything that has to get made has to go through my head, and it's a lot. But the
Yeah.
traveling is a toll on a person, especially if you got kids and family. So that's always something to think about. You know,
Hmm.
we travel 16 times a year, and that's just the base schedule. That's not including test sessions because we live in the Midwest now, so you can't go testing at Indy or Joliet in July or January,
Right.
not July, January.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the snow
So
and the 0 degree temperatures are
yeah, so
not really gonna provide that. Yeah.
yeah, it won't give you good traction. Yeah. But so we got to take a trip down to Bradenton, Florida, or
Oh, geez. Yeah.
South Georgia Motorsports Park. So which is cool. It's a cool little vacay for the middle of the season. But
Yeah.
it still is a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. It sounds like kind of demanding on the schedule, but worth it because you're.
It it's demanding on the family, the people at home. I mean,
Hmm.
I could be a selfish guy and just simply say that I can go to every single race, and forget everybody at home. But it's as soon as I'm not present anymore at the races because I'm always thinking about what's going on at home,
Sure.
missing my kids, and so you're
Yeah.
catching me at a strange crossroads in my life right now with traveling
Sure.
and figuring the shop out. So
Yeah, yeah, and sometimes it's tough, when you travel, like that when you start doing it, like at the very beginning, it's like, man, this is super exciting, going to different cities, I'm checking out different stuff, but then you come home and you realize, like, yeah, sometimes you're missing out on some stuff at home. So I feel
uh,
you a little bit there.
yeah, this is my 11th year doing this.
Hmm.
And my daughter's 6 now, so 6 years ago when she wasn't around, it's no problem. All right, I'm going for 5 days. See you later. But now it's tricky.
Yeah. Well, you are building bikes now. You're on a it's you're doing your own thing there with Mullaney Cycle Works or whatever. How'd you make that transition from going from being a crew guy to kind of opening up your own shop?
Well, the true story is just how we gotta go about, right? The truth of all the stuff. Harley Davidson stopped racing with Vance and Hines.
Hmm.
So when stuff like that happens, um, money's not coming into the business like it once was, right? So I'm not going to say there was a mass layoff, but a few of us lost our position due to the separation of Harley not racing no more.
Sure, sure.
Yeah, and it, I understand it. It's business. COVID was happening.
Mm,
Motorcycles aren't selling as much as they used to,
yeah,
and so that day happened, and I made a phone call to my wife, and I said, "Hey, babe, I could make a left or a right hand turn to go to other fab shops that are around, or I can come home and figure it out." And she said, "Just come home. We'll figure it out." I said, "All right."
nice.
So, yeah.
And so you just decided right there, I'm going to open up my own shop.
I always had a plan to having my own shop of some fashion. That was just kind of like the kick in the butt. All right, now we got to go do it.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes you don't take the leap. Sometimes you got to get pushed. So do you remember like building and fabricating like your first motorcycle chassis? Like what was that like? How did you go about even doing that?
So I started off with the chassis stuff with the Harley team, right? And
Okay, yeah.
I would always stay after work and just pick up a TIG welder. All right, I'm going to stick these two pieces of metal together and try to make it work, right?
Oh no way, yeah.
Well, at the time, I think a fabricator had left Vance and Hines, and there was an open spot. So Harley always ran the Harley Davidson V-Rod Pro Stock bike for the longest time,
Hmm.
and then Harley came out the Street Rod motorcycle, the 750, Street 750, and the Street 500.
Hmm.
Well, Harley wanted to have a new bike represent everything.
Yeah.
So the boys pulled me into the office and said, "Hey, we know you're trying to weld. We have a pretty serious project coming up, and we want to know if you want to be involved." I'm like, "Yeah, what's up?" She's like, "We have to build 3 new bikes." I'm like, "All right, let's do it." Just kind of jumped right into it, and really it worked out. Those 3 chassis actually didn't perform the best. We actually ended up going back to the old V-Rod chassis,
Mm-hmm.
but it was a whole new radical design from what the Vance and Hines boys were used to. So when you make a huge change like that, you're gonna be in a pounding of, how do I want to say it? Like, you're gonna go up the struggle bus of trying to figure out how to make this bike work properly.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. You
And
gotta test it and work out like the bugs and see how it performs really, and then just
yeah,
almost trial and error,
that
I guess.
that was two that was 2017, and we went testing. It felt like we went testing every other weekend with those new bikes because we couldn't get them to 60-foot.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then we just ran out of time. There's something in the NHRA season called the Countdown to the Championship,
Mm-hmm.
and that's after Indy. It just happened this year. Um, and we just simply ran out of time. You want to bring the best of what you have to the countdown to win that championship.
Mm-hmm.
And we knew at that time with those chassis, they just simply weren't going to do the job.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I mean, because that's something to consider too. Is you got to bring the best that you can offer, like you said, but you are on like a time crunch. You don't have all the time in the world to design and perfect and trial and or probably the
well,
money
that you
either. I
only
mean,
get
you're
well, for me now personally, it's a huge financial struggle just trying to figure out how to bring that liquid cash into the business and
mm-hmm.
keep things flowing and rolling.
Yeah.
But for the sponsor, for the Harley side of things, it was just, money actually wasn't an option when it came to that stuff. It seemed like it's
Well,
kind of
that's
cool.
not a bad problem to have. Yeah, exactly. So, well, yeah.
Yeah.
So now you're working with Ryan Ayler, flying Ryan Ayler, who's
Yep.
a super cool dude. Got to meet him up at Joliet when you and I met. And how'd you get involved working with Flying Ryan?
So when I lost my position at the Vance and Hines, the following weekend was a Man Cup event. Manufacturers Cup is called, but we call it Man
Okay.
Cup.
Yeah.
It's an all motorcycle drag racing event in South Georgia Motorsports Park. And I said, well, I'm going to load a chassis up in the back of my pickup with a table and a banner and see what's up. And
Nice.
Man Cup invited all the pro stock motorcycles to come test essentially and race.
Mm-hmm.
So Ryan ended up going, and I was like, "Hey man, let's collaborate." And he's like, "All right," and just kind of hit it off ever since. Me and Ryan's always been buds,
Oh
but
yeah.
now that we get to work together, we've been friends since he came out onto the field. I think in 2018 or 19 when he came out.
Okay.
So yep, yeah,
Yeah.
he's
It's
been a huge help and a huge support of my life, my business life, my personal life, and just being a really good friend.
nice. Yeah. He seems like a pretty straight up dude. So, is it's not a huge like group of people like in the pro stock motorcycle world, it
Nope.
seems like. So you guys, I'm guessing you guys probably all know each other. I mean, does everybody kind of get along, or there's some rivalries maybe, or
There's for sure rivalries. You have that just because you have these teams that put their heart and soul into this. So when you get your ass whooped by another team, your brain's automatically like, "What are these guys doing? They're cheating. Go bring them to the tech. They're cheating. They're doing something." But
right.
from me being on the inside, there may be a few teams out there tinkering with the rules.
Mm,
But I know from like my experience, the some of the big teams, they're not going to hurt their reputation over trying to go faster. They'll just go try to find more horsepower legally.
sure. Yeah. So it
Yeah,
sounds
because
like
we
most people are
we have
friendly.
a
Yeah.
rule book. Yeah, we have a rule book that we all follow. You have to
Hmm.
follow it. But there's always gray sentences, as I like to call it. You know what I mean? Like, little fine lines here and there.
Well,
But
that's what gives you the edge. Yeah.
as you're saying, for the most part, when the helmets are off, everybody talks, everybody jives, everybody will
Yeah.
help each other if it comes down to it. But when that helmet's on, man, we don't even want to look at the other crew member. You know what I mean? Like, nope.
Yeah. Yeah. You guys are the enemy at this for this, 6, 7
Yeah.
seconds.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So well, let's get into the bikes that you're the chassis and stuff that you're building for Ryan. I mean, so what kind of like special considerations do you have to make for building like a drag bike as opposed to maybe a street bike that most people are used to?
All right, for the drag bike specific side of things, we're looking at a hardtail. We're looking at only front suspension. We're looking at a
Mhm.
wheelie bar. We run a 10-inch tire in the back. Um, for our pro stock motorcycles, the wheelbase has to be no more than 70 inches.
Mhm.
Um, as for a street bike, you could do a lot of things. Extended swing arm, grippier tire, aftermarket clutches, but yeah, I don't know, I'm kind of brain
Yeah.
farting on that
No, that's cool. I
one.
mean, like I have to imagine like, because you're dealing with such like horsepower and torque and speed, I mean, going 200 miles an hour, or more, like everything's probably got to be like reinforced like to the nth degree, and the geometry has to be like dialed in
when
perfectly, right?
when it comes to the body work, that is
Yeah.
100% like you're 16th off left to right with that body work, that bike will pull that direction.
Really?
Oh yeah, there's a lot of things when it comes to just tuning these bikes to get them to go straight down the boulevard. A lot of the tracks, just like a normal street, they have the crown to the
Yeah.
road.
Hmm.
So that's going to pull a bike a certain way. So you put axle offset to get the bike to go straight. Or you might have, if you ever watch our starting line procedure, every bike has a guy lining the bike up straight down the track.
Okay.
And sometimes, if you know this lane might pull you a little right, all right, we're going to favor him to the left just a little bit. Because by the time he gets down there, he'll be straight enough.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause I mean, I think a lot of people might, especially when you're just watching, it's like, okay, they just go to the starting line and that's that. And obviously, like being at the starting line is exact. But yeah, I mean, to think about just the lateral side of things, being maybe to the left or a little to the right, and it has to be different for each track. So you have to know, I mean, it's a straight line, but you got to know that track just as well as anybody else would.
That and it's a rider too. Some riders, you could just say, hey, I'm going to point you nice and straight.
Hmm.
Just do your best to go straight.
Yeah.
Simple as that. But then there's other riders that, hey, they want you to come up to the starting line with them. You see that tree down there? Oh, that tree? No. 2 trees to the right of that.
Yeah.
Aim me to that tree. All right, man, no problem. I'll do my best.
Wild. Yeah. Yeah. So it's
Just
almost like the strategies are just as different as the personalities of the riders.
oh, and then you asked about rivalries before, or you mentioned rivalries before, and like right now the big one is Gage Herrera and Matt Smith, two
Yeah.
fastest bikes, two of the fastest pro stock motorcycles in the world, and Gage is cooler than cool. Not much can rattle him. And then everybody's just simply trying to go up there. They'll give a little blurb to the throttle, just to kind of like, what's this guy doing over there?
Sure.
Nope.
Yeah.
Gage Herrera is just locked in. He don't care what's that. That bike could be on fire. When his light turns green, he is going.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
That's pretty cool.
Flying Ryan, there's not much that can really shake him on a tree that I've seen.
Hmm.
A lot of it just comes down to I want the rider as comfortable as possible on that motorcycle. Some
Hmm.
guys they try too hard getting into position. They're moving around a lot. Any little movement of that initial launch, which is what we call the 60-foot,
Hmm.
will upset that motorcycle. So like
Sure. Yeah.
Gage Herrera will bang out a 102, 103 60-foot, which is unbelievable.
Yeah.
You're like
Yeah.
you're like defying physics, as I like to think about it. But most of the class sits in the 105, 106, 107 range, and that's pretty good. We've
Yeah.
been there. Ryan's personal bike, we've been there, but it's just pretty inconsistent. You don't know what you're going to get uh, um, track prep wise. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
every
speaking,
track's a little different.
yeah, I believe it. So you got to know those tracks.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of Ryan's bike, though, I mean, so you're building bikes for him,
Yep,
and one of those bikes set a record, broke a record, right?
well, it hit a big landmark for us personally.
Yeah.
We hit 200 miles an hour, and that was my first personal Mullaney Cycle Works chassis that's been over 200 miles an hour. And he reset his personal ET record that weekend too. I think he went a 678 at 200 miles an hour. So that was like, I did that day. You were there, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
That day, I was so focused on the ET, I didn't even realize the mile an hour. So I
Uh-huh.
jumped up because I was excited about the ET. I turned around, and Andrew Hines like, "You went 200, you went 200," and I'm like, "Ah!"
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
big
I
deal.
mean, what's that like what's that feel like to know that like something that you made, you said it like this is your baby, right? Like
Oh
to know
yeah, I mean,
that somebody took it 200 miles an hour.
I'm slow. Yeah, I get goosebumps right now just thinking about it. Like it is a cool feeling. Um, I've been very, very fortunate with the Harley team to like win a lot of Wallies with the team.
Sure. Yeah.
As a crew guy,
Hmm.
I've won 50 Wallies with the Harley team.
Nice. Congrats.
Thank you. And then we won one with Ryan, me on the
Hmm.
team, and that one just like topped all 50 of the Harley ones because there's like privateer team. Ryan's dad does all the motor work.
Okay.
And crew guys jiving together the way they should be, and it all just worked out that weekend. It's like
Yeah.
you're leaving the starting line just bawling like a baby, like you did it, I did it.
Yeah. Well, it's one thing when you, like you said, when money is no object and when you have, maybe sometimes the best of the best or corporate or whatever behind you, but it's a whole nother thing. When you're doing it on your own, on maybe your own dime, like your reputation, there's nobody to hide behind, right? It's all you, man.
Oh yeah, I mean when Ryan won, it was on one of his older bikes, not the Mullaney Cycle Works chassis, but still I collaborated with him at the time on the tune-up. So like
Yeah.
put our
Yeah.
heads together. We did a motor swap that day in
Oh,
Vegas.
yeah.
Oh man, you do motor swap in between rounds. You don't want to do a motor swap in between rounds.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
that's one thing that I was so surprised at. Walking the cool part about NHRA drag racing is that, I mean, you can just go into the pits. We can watch you guys working and doing stuff or whatever, right? But I mean, you guys almost take those bikes completely apart in between races or right before races and put them back together. I mean, it's just
So
wild
so
to think
so
about.
a little lesson. So our bikes run a high octane fuel. It's Sunoco C25.
Okay.
I think it's like 116 octane. It's up there, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, those big cars run nitromethane, and you see those big top fuel cars. They tear their motors down to the crankshaft every single round. Now with our
Insane.
race gas, we don't have to do that. I mean,
Hmm.
we'll pop valve covers off to make sure there's no broken springs. Every round gets a clutch service. Um, every nut and bolt on the V twin gets looked at because the V twin shakes so much, and
Sure. Yeah.
Everything's hard mounted.
Hmm.
There's no like rubber bushings or anything. So you come back from run, it's like, why is my primary cover bolts all loose? Oh wait, I didn't put Loctite on those. We're good. We're good. Like,
Yeah, yeah, it's just crazy to see you guys tearing these bikes apart and then putting them back together and then getting them on the track to race. So
yeah, Ryan's turnaround right now is, so say we made a run,
hmm.
motor blew up, and like you need to get on Sunday race day, you only have about 30 minutes. So you need to cram about 30 minutes of work. You need to really cram about 40 to 45 minutes worth of work in 30 minutes. And it's like
Yeah,
tools are flying everywhere. You're dropping the F bomb left and right. And you're like, get
right.
the F out of my way, like just let me work. And on the Harley team, those chassis were designed a little differently than Ryan's.
Hmm.
It was really a slick idea. The whole front end of the motorcycle came off.
Oh wow.
Like, yeah, the whole entire front end of the bike came off. Then the motor. Then you put the motor back in. Front end gets back on.
Okay.
So I want to say it was St. Louis. 2016. It's funny how you remember races.
Right.
We did a motor swap in about 23 minutes, out
Whoa,
in with the clutch service and back up to the final round.
that's insane, man. Insane.
And yeah.
Um, yeah. So, where I guess where are we at in the season for NHRA right now with Ryan, and what are we looking at? Are we looking at next season already, and maybe
Oh,
making some tweaks and stuff?
oh yeah. I mean, we were planning for next season a few months ago already. We're gonna start designing a brand new chassis for Ryan here.
Hmm.
Just a matter of getting it all done. I already have all the tubing for it. Just a couple odds and ends I still need to get. But right now in the NHRA circuit, we just got done with Indy. Indy is
Hmm.
our biggest race of the year. It's the big go. Yeah,
Yeah.
over 800 races on the racetrack at the racetrack facility. As soon as Indy's over, everybody goes to Reading, Pennsylvania. That's this weekend, actually.
Hmm.
It's personally one of my favorite tracks. It's a colder track and it's usually fast. You know, you get what's called like mine shaft conditions, like weather
Okay.
wise. So sea level and
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
altitude.
Hmm.
Well, at Reading, it'll be so cold you're like negative 500 feet altitude, and you're like
Wild.
talking to your tuner. And you're like, what are we gonna do here? Like our notebooks don't go that low. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah. Yeah.
but back to the NHRA circuit. There's 3 races in a row, back to back to back. You got Reading, Charlotte 4 wide, and then St. Louis back to back to back.
Hmm.
So those type of weekends are the hardest because if you're not at the racetrack, you're at home servicing your stuff for the racetrack.
Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah. That's nonstop, man.
it is because you don't really want to go to the racetrack to work. I mean,
Sure.
yes, we are working when it comes time to it, but we don't need to go to the racetrack to put a motor in or wire the bike up and do all that stuff. There are races won and lost by the work that is done at the shop. You know what I
Sure.
mean?
Yeah.
So
That makes
yeah,
sense.
you go to the track. I mean, maybe you do a motor swap. Maybe the truck didn't come back to Illinois, stayed in Pennsylvania, went straight to North Carolina. All right, we got to
Hmm.
do some work, a little bit of maintenance.
Yeah.
But you never want to go to the racetrack knowing you have to wire your bike or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Most of the big work is done in the shop or
And
whatever. So.
for Flying Ryan's team, it has been done. He ran bad one time and had a crew guy. I won't drop names. But Ryan takes fault because he allowed this to happen on his motorcycle.
Mm.
Essentially, you could hook up the battery charger into the harness side, not the battery side.
Okay. Yeah.
So that we shouldn't have matching connectors on that for that to happen. Well,
Hmm.
crew guy, we were in a rush, plugs the charger into the harness side, and you just see a puff of smoke
Oh
come
God.
out, and you're just like, oh, we just ran our fastest pass of the weekend.
Oh my
So
God.
that entire night we stay up rewiring, pulling wiring harness off another bike to get it to work on this bike.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then
Woof.
and at the time he ran a wiring harness that was outdated. He ran a Magneti Morelli. Everybody runs Motec or Max ECU now
Okay.
in Pro
Yeah.
Stock, but it's like, well, we can't even go to another team and try to get parts. Like, so that's why we
You're
made the swap over to
just making it
Motec
work. Yeah.
ECU.
Yeah.
Yeah. Running
Um.
Napa, trying to get wire to make it work, and it's like, oh, this is not going to work.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So you've got your own thing. You're working with Ryan or whatever. What kind of what else are you working on with bike frames and or chassis rather? And
Yeah.
what's coming up at Mullaney Cycle Works?
So I got a TL, which is a TL is the bodywork, like a TL 1000R Suzuki bike.
Hmm.
Um, it's it's going to be based on Pro Stock specs, and so that's one bike we're building. Then I got about 5 sets of wheelie bars that I need to make. Luckily, they're all similar, so I could prep. I can get in like in the zone mode and just get to work and prep a lot of stuff, but
Yeah.
they're all different in their own little way. So when you get to the finalization of things, it takes some time.
Yeah.
And I have 2 Pro Mod chassis. One is going to Russia, and the other one I'm just going to build. When you build multiple things of one, why set the machine up multiple times when I
Yeah.
could just
Makes
do
sense.
2 or 3 of the same thing? All right, may not sell this bike right away, but at least I'm prepped and ready to a lot closer, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. That's smart. And, that's pretty cool though, being able to say you're international now, man.
Yeah. Well, not yet, but once we get the bike in Russia, then I could say that. I really want to
Yeah.
go to Australia. There's a huge pro stock motorcycle scene in Australia,
Okay.
and I've been talking to Luke Crowley and my buddy Blaze, and man, they're, come on, mate, you gotta come on down. I'm like, oh, I want to, man.
Yeah. I've heard it's a good time. So,
Yeah,
have you been
there's
able
pro
to,
stock motorcycles all over the world. You have America. We're the fastest. You have Sweden, bikes from Finland, bikes
no
from
way.
Germany, and pro stock level. I'm not just talking like a couple sportsman guys are just putting a bike together. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
they're 6 second bikes, but not a lot of those bikes have been like 660s like our American bikes have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I didn't know that there was pro stock all over the world though. So
Yeah,
that's
I
super
think there's
cool and a lot of opportunities.
I think there's 12 bikes, 12 Australian bikes,
Okay. That's
all
pretty
pro
sick.
stock. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah, man. Have you had a chance to like build something for yourself or build your fabricate your own bike maybe, or is that kind of on in the
Uh,
plan still?
it's always in the plan. You know, it's it's tough to free up time for yourself. One Sunday morning, I woke up and I'm like, I got this idea in my head. So I started bending tubes.
Hmm.
So there's classes, right? Pro stock bike. Then
Sure.
you have sportsman stuff. But then you have all Harley organizations.
Okay.
And Flying Ryan's got a couple pro stock engines, literally just collecting dust. And I'm like, dude, let me get one of those. Let me just use it, rent it from you,
Yeah.
whatever the case may be.
Borrow it. Yeah.
I want to build a pro bagger, so a suspension bagger bike with a pro stock engine in
Okay.
it.
That's pretty
So
wild. Yeah.
for what I want to do to it, 750s, 740s in the quarter mile is going to be fast enough for me. I'm
Hmm.
250 pounds. I don't need to be going that fast. You know.
Right. Right. Yeah. Can you tell me a little bit about like the process? We talked about it a little bit at the beginning, but like, how do you have, how do you get something from an idea into your head to like something you can race?
so I use that CAD program, the Fusion
Hmm.
360. That's the biggest part of my shop. Like if it wasn't for that program, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing, really.
Hmm. Hmm.
And then, really, I mean, I built a fixture table, which I have in CAD. So it's
Hmm.
got 247 holes. Every 2 inches, it's got a hole. Fixture and plates and stuff
Sure.
like
Yeah.
that. Then I make my jigs. I start off with the center. And I do my back half of the bike
Hmm.
because normally all my back halves are the same, Suzuki or V twin.
Hmm.
And then it's just the front half for the motor that gets fitted, right?
Hmm.
So, but it's the cost when it comes to these bikes too. For the chassis
Sure.
side, it's really not that bad. It's all the freaking parts, man. Like a bodywork, a brand new Gen 3 Hayabusa bodywork is $22,000 just for the carbon fiber by itself.
Jeez.
And that's not the $5,000 to $6,000 it takes for me to install it.
Really?
It
Like
oh
for
it
the fittings and
Yeah,
to
it comes pretty fit. Andrew Hines was the designer, from what I understand, for the
hmm
Gen 3 Hayabusa body. If he wasn't exactly the designer, he had a huge part in designing it.
hmm
So it fits together one way. But some of these other body works, like Ryan's EBR Buell bodywork,
yeah.
there's no mating. You kind
Oh,
of have to
really?
like, all right, this kind of looks good. This kind of looks good.
Yeah.
So it takes 40, 50 hours to mount these things, especially when it comes to airbox, because our airbox is pretty critical
Yeah, for sure.
on a bike, because on a pro stock bike, you're going 200 miles an hour. At the eighth mile, you're going 160 miles an hour. So that last 660 feet of the track, you're getting positive PSI in that airbox.
Yeah.
So you're getting boost, essentially.
Yeah.
I'm not talking 20 pounds. We're talking a PSI,
Hmm.
but a PSI to a motor like that is pretty helpful.
Yeah, I was gonna say it makes a difference. It's not, it's not nothing to sneeze at. So
Oh yeah, I mean, we I keep joking to Ryan, like, you should get sponsored by a duct tape company because we use so much duct tape to fill the gaps that we couldn't fit the carbon perfectly to.
oh sure, yeah.
So it's just you just use that duct tape. We call it racers tape. Just pull it off, put a new one on
Yep.
for next round.
Whatever you need to do to make it work, man.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure.
Well, if somebody wanted to like kind of get into doing what you do, or learn to fabricate motorcycles, or get into like a crew on an NHRA race crew, like what advice would you have to get started in that line of work?
Um, Try to find some solid mentors that are doing it already. Obviously,
Hmm.
right? Um, as for the NHRA thing, we have races all throughout the country. Go to a race with a stack of. I've seen it. I've seen it a bunch of times.
Hmm.
Why is this kid walking around with a folder? Well,
Okay.
he's got a folder stacked of resumes. He's just walking around every trailer handing stuff out because he
Hmm.
wants to get into it that bad,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, NHRA has a thing called Launch now. NHRA Launch, and it has to do. I'm already in, so I'd never really had to look into it, right?
Right, right.
But from what I understand, you could sign up for this, and it gives you a network of like, oh, hey, Antron Brown Motorsports is hiring for this
Hmm.
position, hospitality position. A lot of where you get started is hospitality.
Okay.
Seeing if
Yeah.
you can handle with traveling, and then next thing you know, hey, crew guys out this weekend, you want to hop in? So on the bike side of things, it's a little differently because it's so much smaller.
Yeah.
But as for the top fuel thing, like top fuel cars and top funny cars and dragsters, there's so many people on the team. They're always looking for help.
Okay.
So,
Nice.
but as for fabricating stuff, I would just say try to get a nice welder. Yeah, a nicer welder. I mean, get some metal and just start welding it together. I mean,
Yeah. Just practice and maybe learn some CAD or something, or Fusion 360,
ooh,
and
there we go. CAD would be huge right now because it's not just motorcycle. You can do anything. 3D printing. Um, I run my CNC machine off my CAD program, so it's
oh
like,
wow.
yeah. So CAD. If I had to re-answer with that whole question again, I would just say learn CAD. Learn CAD because you have so many things you can do with it,
Hmm.
like motorsports, transportation businesses, and if you're having a good imagination, you can understand how to make it all work. You could literally create anything.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's something that people don't realize is that, like, in order to do what you do, like, there is a lot of like mechanical work and like physical labor that goes into it, but you're a creative person, right? Like you have to have a
Yeah,
creative streak in you to be able to do this. Cause like you said, you woke up one day and you had this idea, and like that's where that creativity comes from. So
yeah. You definitely have to have that creative bone in you, just to be able to know where to start. I mean, I could look at this Gatorade bottle and say that's a cylinder. I'm going to draw a circle here and then extrude it 5 inches, and now I got my Gatorade shape. And
yeah.
I could 3D scan a
Oh, sick.
Pro Stock engine and then print it on my 3D printer. Just I'm like looking around my office right now, seeing what else we got.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's,
but
it's, you can't stop that creative force, so.
No, and then I also bring the creative stuff into the engine shop with Ryan's dad. I can't talk too much about what we're working on, but we've
Sure.
made absolutely one-off parts that's never been made in the world for what we're doing.
Yeah.
And all we get to do with me and Bad Brad is, hey, does this make more horsepower? Does it make less horsepower? Oh, it made a little bit more. All right, let's see if we can make it better.
Right.
And
Yeah.
all right, can you design this? Bad Brad had a concept in cardboard.
Oh,
He
no
said,
way.
hey, can you make this? And I said, yeah, give me a couple weeks. And
We
then
can try. Yeah.
a few weeks later, I had it working, fired motor up, everything ran, and didn't make the horsepower he wanted, but it didn't lose the horsepower. So it's kind of like,
Sure.
yeah, what do we do here? You know?
Yeah. Still got to be cool to see something in a concept or have it in your head and then see it on the track or to test it out, you know, see
Or
it
just to
happen in real life.
fire it up and it's like, holy crap, it's working. Like,
Yeah. I imagine that feeling never goes away.
I remember my first Suzuki I had, Mr. Bostic purchased my first Suzuki from us.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to say this properly. Racers already have their mind set on how their motorcycle is going to work. So when it doesn't, tensions may flare up, right?
Okay.
Well, hold on real quick. I just saw something. I'm freaking brain farting right now.
No, you're good.
You might have to edit this part a little bit.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. So me and the motor builder on Bostic's team, I wired this bike up, and I'll tell you right now, I'm a chassis fabricator. I can wire,
Yeah,
but it ain't gonna be pretty. It ain't like I'll get your bike fired up, but you know your lanes, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So this is the first fire up. We're at the racetrack. We have never fired this bike up, even in my garage.
Yeah,
so
okay.
I'm sweating. I don't even know if this thing's gonna turn on. Flick the switch. All right, it's connected to the computer. That's a good sign. And fire it up, and boom, fired up instantly. I'm like, yes. I looked at the motor builder, and there you go. First pass out, it went 2 feet, and I'm like, oh, all right. I'm okay. I've been a part of this, so I know what I'm going for.
Sure.
Chris is an amazing person, but he had all these hopes, you know?
Yeah, sure.
And I'm not going to say he got upset with me, but he just wanted to go out and blister the national record.
Sure,
yeah. I'm like, dude, that can't happen. We got to get realistic here. Let's make it to the end of the track, you know? And
yeah.
We had a carburetor fall off the second pass, but we made it all the way to the end of the track. And I'm like,
hey, there you go.
We're all the way at the top end. And he's like, well, it didn't really sound that great. And I'm like, yeah, I think you had a carburetor fall off. And that started a whole debacle. And I'm like, all right, no problem. So I've every racer, and I love all of them. I love them all. Every single racer, we all got our personalities.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like, you know, if somebody's in a bad mood, you don't really just want to talk to them.
Yeah, well, like you said, I mean, you're putting kind of all your chips on the table with that, and the racers are too. So
well, and then the guys are paying for it too. So they're dishing out money. You're renting the track, so that's a couple $1,000 right there. Yeah. Your motorcycle in total is $130,000 sitting there full of parts. You know.
Yeah.
So a lot of time, I get it. I could let something go in one ear, out the other. I know what's going on. I'm okay. But I just want to make everybody go fast and have a good old time. Because at the end of the day, we're racing motorcycles, and pro stock wise, there's 40 to 50 people in the entire world that do it.
Yeah,
I think that's a cool stat.
That's super cool, man, and it's cool.
I say that to Bad Brad all the time. Sorry to cut you off. I say that to Bad Brad all the time. It's like, Brad, you know we're like the only 2 people in the world doing exactly what we're doing at this current moment in time. He's like, yeah, that does sound pretty cool, don't it? I'm like, yeah.
Pretty cool, man. Well, I think that's a good note to end on, Mike. So thank you so much for being here. Where can people check out what you're doing? Where can they find out more about Mullaney Cycle Works? Maybe if they got a couple extra dollars, they wanna work with you. Where can they find you?
My main thing is Instagram. I use it as a portfolio, essentially.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
Mullaney Cycle Works on Instagram. It's Mullaney Cycle Works on Facebook too. I do. If somebody wanted to come to me and build a bike, I would love to build a bike for a company that wants to advertise at a national TV level. Like, you got a new brand that's growing up. Well, let's get it on Fox. Let's get your name on TV, you know? So, and I'm always trying to help the sportsman guys too. I mean, there's only 16 pro stock motorcycle racers out here compared to hundreds of sportsman guys, you know?
Yeah.
So But the best place to find me is social media, Instagram, and I'm always at the track.
Cool,
At least I
man.
try to
Well,
be.
yeah. Well, thank you. Thanks again for the time, and we'll talk again.
Cool, man. Thank you.
All right. See ya.